Alright, this is Geordie Prepper and welcome to the Digital Prepping video series. This is just an overview of the series, some things that we're going to cover, what the series is and what it isn't. So obviously this is a prepping channel and cybersecurity, from the topics that you can see just on this graphic in front of you, it's an absolutely huge topic to cover. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down and we're just going to conduct some very simple things and some simple changes to the operating systems that we use. So it doesn't matter whether you're using Mac, Windows or Linux or any other modern computer system, they all use the same protocols, they all use similar things, they just put it in a different place on the operating system and they just call it something slightly different now and then. So what you do need to know is you need to know the basics of being on a computer. You need to know passwords, usernames. You need to know basic aspects of the computer's security systems. So make sure that you're comfortable with the computer that you're using and the operating system that you're using. Make sure that you have a basic understanding of it. And just a disclaimer, anything that I do cover, if you decide to do anything and implement it into your system from watching the video here that I'm doing, you do so at your own risk. It's your system. It's your obligation to back it up to make sure that it's safe and secure. And obviously you don't have to do anything that I cover in these videos, but these simple things that I've been doing, I'm going to show you, and I've already found the benefits from doing it. So the hope and the purpose of this series is just to make sure that our online activities, no matter what we're doing, the searches that we conduct, the research that we do, and the websites that we use, and anyone else who's using our computer system is basically as protected as we can be. So with such a huge area to cover, where do we start? Well, it starts with you, basically. You have to want to be secure online. You have to want to be able to protect your data, whether that's pictures of your friends, family, your prepping activities. If you're on YouTube, your videos. This, for a lot of people, being on YouTube is a living, so you have to take the measures to protect that income, protect that living, protect your hobby and your interest. And the first place where that starts with is that you have to want it. So as with our prepping that we do to protect ourselves physically, you have to want to protect yourself online. So that's really where it begins. You have to take those steps and those measures. The computer that you're using doesn't come out of the box secure. You have to take the measures to make it secure and to protect your online activities. So that's really where it starts. So obviously this begins with articles, reading and doing some research, which takes time. So for this video series, you don't have to be a programming genius. We're not going to be talking about inputting endless lines of code into the terminal. We're just going to be doing things by the graphical user interface, or GUI as it's called. And don't feel like you're getting sucked down into a digital black hole. That's not what this series is about. The things that we're covering are just so simple and basic, anyone can do it. As long as you've got access to the administrator area of the computer, you're comfortable inputting usernames and passwords, then this series should make you feel like you're getting your digital life back into your hands instead of in someone else's hands. And the things that we're going to do are very simple, yet they're going to help you keep your digital life out of the hands of this guy. This dude here, he's the bad guy. He works alone. He works in groups sometimes. He works for nefarious government organizations, and basically he's after what you input online. We put a lot of information out there and we've been duped into doing it, and the only thing that's keeping the information and placing it into their hands is in many ways due to the naivety of people. The computers that we use, they don't come out of the box secure. Many of the functions, to make it more secure, we have to conduct ourselves, and we have to conduct ourselves in a way online which protects us, just like we do in the real world, when we're offline, as it were. We do things, we conduct in operational security of our physical location. So why don't we do it online as well? So that's just the simple things that we're going to talk about in this video series. So like I said earlier, if you use Windows, Mac or Linux, it doesn't matter, or anything else. If it's a modern operating system, we're going to be covering things which you can do just to alter some very basic settings within them. Obviously anything that you change, just make sure that you can put it back. The stuff that I've found is very easy to remove. As always, just a reminder though, make backups. Make sure that you have a backup solution already in place before you do anything. And, just make sure that you're comfortable with the computer that you're using. Obviously, if you pick the computer that you're using, then you'll have some level of comfort with it. But if ever you feel like you're going beyond your comfort zone, just step back, get a book, get some research done, take some courses at your local schools or wherever, and, get yourself up to speed on the system that you're using. Alright, so you've made the sensible decision to get your online privacy back, to be secure online and to be safe online when you're doing the stuff that you do online. As preppers, we probably search for things that, the average individual doesn't search for. And, with the algorithms that are run constantly, this does actually make us a target. So we're going to be talking about anonymizing yourself online later. But like I said at the beginning, we start with some research and inspiration, want to protect our online privacy, and that's the hope of this video series, is that it makes you want to take your online activity and put it back into your hands. One channel that's inspired me, and she's just a very good organized individual. I don't think she's actually a prepper. A lot of the organizing that she does can certainly be transferred over to the prepping community. And I've actually mentioned her channel on my Monday mentions, and that's Do It On a Dime. And in one video that I'll link below, Catherine's talking about the software that she uses to organize her passwords. And that's a piece of software called Dashlane. It's free, but I think you get more support and possibly more features if you go for the paid version. But she does actually give a promo code to give you a discount on it. So there's some really great channels on YouTube, and what I would just suggest is that you find one specific to the platform that you're using. Find a channel where the guy or girl knows what they're doing. They, produce consistently good, high quality videos, and the information in them has been obviously well researched, and they then present it in a very good way that that you can use to your specific computer system. So Tech Talk America is one that I'm subscribed to. I'm sure there's many more, there's hundreds and if not thousands of computer channels out there. So just find one that you're comfortable with and gives you good information. And, Tech Talk America is good, he's quite a good, well-established channel. He's talking about many of the things over the years that we're going to talk about in this video series, cleaning and protecting your computer, using password managers, and making good strong passwords. Tech Talk America, a good channel to subscribe to if you use a Mac. If you are subscribed to a good Windows channel, let me know in the comments below, and I'll put a link to it in the description. So I wanted to keep this video series simple, and I wanted the things that I show to be simple, because not everyone's a computer programmer, not everyone has and likes to get into the gubbins of the computer system. But there was a really good guide on VPN Reporter which just outlines 18 ways to keep yourself safe online. It talks about blocking ads, malware, adware, pop-ups, trackers, phishing. These are all things which are constantly happening when you're online. People are after the data that you're inputting, and they want to turn it around and use it for their own gains. So this article is a really good thing to go through. They'll talk about many of the things that we're going to discuss in the future. If you want to start with this article, even if you don't look at any of the others, this is a really good one to start on. The second article that I've linked in the description below is this one. It's how to harden your browser against malware and privacy concerns. This one goes into a little bit more detail and has some specific links if you're more of an advanced user. So this is again another good article to check out. Another good article I found was this one on Underground Network. It's how to NSA proof your Apple iCloud account. I think they've used that title just to glamorize it a little bit, but what the article really is about is the hardware and the software which is employed to protect people's documents that are uploaded to iCloud. And so if you have an iCloud account, definitely check this article out. So obviously with the increase in government surveillance of our online activities, VPNs or virtual private networks have become a very, very lucrative business to be in right now. There's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of VPN services springing up now, and they're becoming very popular. But one thing I'm going to stress in this video series when we come to it is that just because you're signed up to a VPN service, it doesn't mean that all of your online activity and data is going to be secure. Even if you've got it and you're connected to your VPN, there's a lot of rogue VPN services out there. There's a lot of VPN services which aren't employing the latest security methods to protect the traffic that is going through their service. And in many cases, you're paying good currency for the service that you signed up for. And in the next video, we're going to be looking at ways of assessing your current security if you are using a VPN, and we're going to be talking about what to look for in regards to your anonymity online. This article talks about VPN security, and obviously it's bigging up the service that they're going to be introducing, and the hope is that you sign up to their service. But it does talk about a lot of the problems with VPN services that are out there, and it's talking about how they're going to introduce things to secure their VPN. It is a bit of an advertisement for their own service, but it does talk about a lot of the things that are wrong with current VPN services. So just because you use a VPN doesn't mean it's secure. So the majority of the computers that are being used to access the internet is obviously running the Windows operating system. And by its very nature, it's extremely insecure, especially Windows 10. It's just a huge data mining piece of software, really. So this article by Heimdall Security is talking about that, and it's saying what's being sent, where the settings are in Windows, where you can look at the information that's being reported, and in some instances you can turn it off. But in order to do so on a more secure level and more advanced level, you really have to go into other guides. But I thought that this was a really good guide, just to show you where these settings are, and it talks about what's being reported back, and ways to stop it. So check out that article; it's really good, and like I said, get to know the system that you're using. So the last article was about security and privacy in Windows 10. The next one is about macOS 10 and configuring that in a very secure way. There is these documents, and the latest one that I've been able to find is this one here. It's for macOS 10.6, but the actual fundamentals to it haven't really changed that much. A lot of it is still relevant to the latest version of the macOS, which is Sierra. And I've been using these documents for years, and I implemented a couple of these things now and then over the years, just to make my computer more secure. So this document is really, really helpful. It goes into quite a lot of depth. So if you are familiar with the macOS and you do tinker around in the terminal, then this is something which I think you'll find really, really helpful. And it just goes beyond the basics about securing macOS 10. And obviously, it gives you an introduction to everything about macOS 10, how it works and everything, the different layers that are already there. So if you're very comfortable with macOS, check out this article. It's really, really helpful. So the last article, which I've linked below, is this one about iMessage. Now, not everyone will be using a Mac, but obviously there's a lot of people out there that don't use a Mac computer, but will use an iPhone. So this article is talking about iMessage, how secure it is, and how it works. So it's really just to give you some reassurance about how secure it is. A good article to check out, and the last one that I've linked. So really that's it. That's the start of this video series. It's just to get you reading about, what can be done to secure your privacy online, to secure your online activity as well. Not every video will be as long as this one. This is just because it's the introduction to the series. Basically just gonna, from now on, it'll just be showing you one specific thing which I've been doing, which I've done in the past, for years. I'll be showing you things that I've been doing for a very long time, and I'll be showing you a lot of the new stuff which I've adapted just in the past 2 weeks. So be safe online, be safe offline. But I hope that you subscribe to this series, and I hope that you take on board a lot of the things that are going to be covered. If you want to contact me below on some of the things that you introduce, then I'll leave the details below. I'm on Telegram and I'm on Tox and I'm on the AIM network, so you can talk to me securely and privately about any, privacy concerns you have online. I've done a lot of support for people in the homes with their computers, mostly Mac based, but some PC and Windows based as well. So even if you just want to reach me, talk to me about prepping, the ways to do so is linked below. And if you want to, as we're going along and we're securing our communications, then we can test out things, together whilst we're looking at secure communications and protecting our online presence. So be safe, be prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.